Ricky Cage and Stuart Copeland won the Grammy Award for Best New Age Album in 2022 for Divine Tides. I caught up with Ricky Cage the day before the Grammys and asked him about what it was like putting this album together during the pandemic and also working with the masterful Stuart Copeland. Liz Berg here with Ricky Cage. Congratulations on your Grammy nomination.
Thank you so much.
Nominated for Best New Age Album.
Correct.
For the second time you've won. Well, you've won one before.
Exactly.
Okay. And Stuart has 5.
Stuart has 5 along with the police. Yes.
Yes. So your first joint nomination together.
Correct.
Now you are a beacon of positivity. You are an ambassador for all things environment and conservation. You recorded this album during the pandemic.
Correct.
How much pressure did you feel to shine that positivity? Did you feel like that motivated you more this time around?
So the thing is that I create music as an extension of my own personality and my own beliefs and my own thoughts. So it's never about what I need to convey to people or what people need to listen to. It's just an extension of whatever I'm feeling at that particular point in time. So that's what Divine Tides was all about. It was all about coexistence. It was all about the resilience of the human species. But more importantly, what the pandemic was a common enemy that the whole planet basically faced. And we've always been taught that if there is a common enemy, then what happens is that everybody will come together and we will defeat this enemy together. But what happened with COVID, unfortunately, is that the divisions became deeper, suspicions became stronger. Everybody were just fending for themselves and not bothering about countries which were sort of like underprivileged and could not get access to medical supplies and vaccines and things like that. So this is something that I felt very strongly about, and that's what has been conveyed very strongly through the album.
Now, speaking of which, things not going quite as you would hope for them
Correct.
to be, how does that impact you going forward with your next material? Have you started writing for your next project yet?
So currently I'm just working on promoting Divine Tides, because I believe that as artists, whenever we make a project and if the project is over, we are always thinking about what to do next. And that's a very dangerous thought, because once you start thinking about what to do next and you start working on another project, your previous project is pretty much immediately dead. So it's important that we spend so much of time, so much of love, so much of effort to create a project. So we have to give that project its time in the sun, and we have to ensure that we promote the album as much as possible, nurture the album, so that as many people all over the world would probably appreciate this music, listen to the music. And then once we feel that every single person who could possibly appreciate the music has listened to the music, then you can move on. So I'm going to be promoting this project for a while now.
Right. And you're very proud of it.
I'm extremely proud of it. It's like my child, So I don't have children. My music, the musical pieces that I create are my children, and this is like my favorite child right now.
Absolutely. Now, this is not your first time working with Stuart.
Correct.
How did it come about that you asked him to be on this project with you? Was this something you were thinking about and hoping that he would agree to?
Exactly. So in 2016, Stuart and I had collaborated on an album, but we did not get to interact with each other because the whole thing happened through artist managers. And then pandemic hit, and I came up with a couple of ideas for a new album. I approached Stuart, and Stuart loved the music, and then we decided to co-write and do this album completely from the ground up with both of us together. And that's what became Divine Tides. So I'm just really, really grateful that he agreed to take this journey with me.
I'm very curious. What was your first introduction to Stuart Copeland growing up? Now, you were born in...
India.
You were born in India?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I was born in North Carolina.
You were born in the United States.
In the United States, and I was brought up.
When you were a small
Correct.
child. Did you catch MTV?
Yes.
In your early years, were you aware of the police?
No, all of us in India were huge police fans.
Okay.
And in fact, there was I was talking with Stuart, and he told me that I played in India. Did you come for that concert? And then I told him no, and then he asked why. And then I told him that it was in 1981, 4 months before I was born. So that's the reason why it was impossible for me to attend, unless my mom attended while I was in her stomach, So that's the thing. But anyway, but the police has had a very, very strong impact in India. People in India know the Police's music really well. In fact, it was one of the first rock and roll bands which actually had a huge impact in India.
Wow.
So I grew up with posters of Stuart all over my walls.
Oh my gosh.
So I was a huge fan of his. And when it came to the Police itself, what always intrigued me were the drums, because the drums were very poetically played. They were not like your regular rock and roll drums. I would watch videos of Stuart and I would see that he would have like the traditional grip while holding his drumsticks. So all these things really had a very profound effect on me. And growing up, I listened to him a lot. I would follow his career, including his other bands with Stanley Clarke and his the Clark Kent and things like that. So that's what. So for me, it's this whole project of Divine Tides, interacting with him for a year, making this album has been a truly, truly surreal experience.
And what struck me as a child watching Stuart Copeland was his positivity.
Correct.
He was the jokester
Yes.
in all those videos. So I feel like you guys are a great combination.
No, and we make that's what we do. So when we are on these calls, which was very, very often during the time we were making the album, we would tell each other jokes and laugh. And then an hour would pass by. And then Stuart and me would make like a commitment that the next time we do this, we're just going to do one joke him and one joke me, and we're going to stop, okay? And then again, the next time when we would speak, we would make jokes all over again and we would spend time, So he's just such an amazing human being. It's very difficult for me to describe what an effect he's had on me as a human being and as a legend,
Now, how does one give Stuart Copeland notes?
So it was him giving me notes, actually.
Really?
So the thing is that very early on in the process, I decided, like all my previous albums, I was fully in control. I'm the one who mixes, I'm the one who masters, I'm the one who has a final say on everything. But in this particular case, I'd made a very strong decision that Stuart, with the experience he has with over 50 movie soundtracks, with operas, with the police and all of that stuff, that any time he asks me to do something, even if I disagree with it, I'm going to do it.
Wow.
And after 2 weeks, if I still don't like it, then I will have a conversation with him. So there were many times he would ask me to do something, and I would immediately my immediate reaction in my mind would be that that's not going to work. And then 2 weeks later, I would listen to it again. I would be like, thank God we followed his advice, Because, sometimes you're stuck in your own ideas and your own thoughts, and you need somebody to come in and rattle you up, and explain to you what you're thinking is wrong, because you're just going in one direction. You need to have another perspective. And then a few days later, when you can look at things objectively, you suddenly realize that what the other person, what your collaborator was saying is correct, and that's what was happening very often with Stuart and me.
Absolutely. Now, is there anything else you would like to convey to the general public about your work, about conservation in general?
So
I know you work with refugees as well.
Correct. So I would say that I think what the need for the hour right now, in my opinion, is just consuming less of everything. That's all. Because I do not think we have a problem with overpopulation. I do not believe that we have any other problems. Everything is an effect of us over-consuming. So I believe that you should, everybody say that, that there is enough resources on this planet for everybody's need, but not everybody's greed.
Right.
So what we need to do is that whatever we are doing, whether it is food, whether it's plastics, whether it's packaging, whether it is fossil fuels, whatever we are consuming, whatever we are buying, whatever we are stockpiling, just do a little bit lesser of that. And I think that is enough to make this world a better place for everyone.
Well, good luck tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
We're filming this the day before the Grammys, so good luck and congratulations on a
Thank you so
wonderful
much. Very kind of you.
Big congratulations to both Ricky Cage and Stuart Copeland on the success of Divine Tides and the Grammy win for Best New Age Album. Ricky has the smarts that I like to talk about on this channel, smarts and entertainment. It seems that he was very wise in not only enlisting Stuart Copeland to be his partner on this album, but it seems that they were true collaborators in bouncing ideas off of each other and truly listening and valuing each other's feedback. This album, to me as a listener, was very spiritually awakening and challenging in a beautiful way. I hope you get to check out the album if you haven't already. Leave me a comment about either Stuart Copeland or Ricky Cage, and thanks for watching.